When the birds fly south and the snow come down and the crops all die. Bitch, I'm outside, rolling these bones, now bones be high. If I ever go broke like I was last year, I'm not even gonna lie.
So we're on location here. I'm gonna be shooting my buddy Johnny's GTS right here. So he has a GTS that he's selling. If you guys are interested, DM either me or him on the Instagram that you guys see on screen right now. It's pretty gnarly. It's stage 2, has a bunch of carbon on it, as you can see. He has a carbon diff, carbon wing. His wheel setup is crazy. Really like that. Overall, it's just a very clean car. So right now it's kind of bright to be shooting, as you can probably tell, or if you know anything about photography, you can probably tell it's really bright to be shooting right now. And the reason why is because, one, he's selling the car, so I need more sun because I want to try and capture as much detail of this car as possible. So in order to do that, I want more sunlight, pretty much. And also with the shadows that we have going on here, this will make for a more dynamic image because there'll be more depth added as a result of the shadows here. And since he's selling the car, we need to be getting all angles of the car, so you'll notice throughout the video that I'm actually going to be turning the car around like on all different sides. After this, we're going to be going to a little cruise that my buddy Steve is hosting. So that's going to be on the second part of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and get to shooting.
3 p.m. She always be going when it's 3 p.m.
Now I'm going to be doing some angled shots so we can see like the car in action and how you see it kind of in real life. Oh, there it is. All right, so this lens is a lot shakier, so I'm sorry if it's super shaky. But right now we're doing rear end shots. So you see how the car, like half of it's in the shadows and the other half is in the light? That's actually perfect because right now I'm trying to bring focus to the rear of the car. Now we're gonna do the side shot. This is arguably the most important one because this is how you show off like both sides of the car. Obviously the person buying it wants to make sure that the paint is in great condition, or at least the body's in great condition. So with that being said, let's hop into it.
It's getting sentimental, let me call my bitch and ask her what she doing, knowing I know what it is. Or ask her where she at, know she probably in the crib, texting to the GM to the bitch.
Alright, so I just got done with the shoot. I think it went well. I know for a fact that we got all the angles and photos that we wanted. It's probably going to be like a 50 photo set if I had to guess. When I first started photography, I heard about dynamic range and shadows and how do you create a dynamic image and all that, but I never quite understood it until I actually took photos that incorporated the use of shadows and light or objects or whatever it may be in order to show like a certain depth of field. Something that I also noticed that people do when it comes to car photography in particular that they mess up on, and this is probably like the easiest thing to mess up on too because you don't really think about it. You just think like, oh, this is a 6 spot. As I just said, it's the location. The location determines the lighting that you're going to get on the scene, and just like with any form of photography, lighting is pretty much what makes or breaks the image. There can be a great spot with a really cool building, but if you're shooting a car entirely in shadows, in post you're going to have to bring up the shadows, so then the final image is not going to look. It's not going to look at like it contains as much detail as the original shot. And the thing is, when it comes to taking pictures, you actually do want to try and retain. Less is more. Try to shoot bearing in mind what edits you're going to have to make and knowing what sacrifices you're going to have to make. So in my case, I like to shoot overexposed because I don't like to bring up blacks or shadows that much in my pictures. So with that being said, my whites and highlights are overblown, but that's okay because I, for the most part, don't really care about my highlights or my whites. I just bring those two things down. So you see how there's like a certain combination of things that you can incorporate within your photography that a lot of people don't really think about. Instead, they just think of like, oh, I need to get the best camera and this is a cool spot. Even though that spot may have really good context, it won't have the proper lighting, and that's, again, by far the most important. Hopefully when I edit this, I'll try to piece it together so that way it makes sense. If you guys have any questions, just let me know down below. But with that being said, we're gonna go to the fucking meet/cruise/ whatever you wanna call it. Let's go.
I've never felt this sort of rush.
My boy Steve is the one running this whole thing. I'm gonna go say what's up.
Steve's home.
So you already know that Steve has the car full of biddies. By far, in my opinion, the nicest car here. At least out of like the Subarus here is probably the nicest one.
No brain. See, dude. See, like that's one thing about cars, bro. It's always the people in shit boxes that drive like shit.
You went about a mall watch. Said fucking I'm called out. I'm start chasing my Celine dreams. Me and Thugger made a slime house. $100,000 for a green ring.
crazy.
I did this shit. This is my
Dude,
shit.
yeah.
There's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
Okay, probably at least like 70 cars.
Yeah.
80
Yeah.
cars. Close to 100 maybe.
All you.
Yeah.
By the couch spring, made me and now I'm a Southside king. Ooh, the sun came out. I went about the drop top. Looking like car alive. Fucking on that.
Thanks for hosting, bro. We're heading out.
You heading out?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay.